Up, everybody, it is Izzy, and in today's video what I want to talk about is the best exercise for triceps. There's going to be a little bit more advanced discussion in this video because it's very difficult to explain my position on the triceps without discussing moment arms. Now, what is a moment arm? In a lifting context, a moment arm is simply the distance between a joint and the bar. The bar represents gravity, and gravity acts only in a vertical plane up and down. So a moment arm represents additional torque that you must overcome to complete a lift, and very specifically, it represents the additional torque that that particular joint must overcome. So in any sort of bench pressing or dip variation, we need to understand a few things. The more abduction you have of the elbow, the harder that the chest is going to have to work, because the chest is responsible for humeral adduction. It brings the arm up and across the body. Now, the front delt is primarily responsible for shoulder extension, right? It raises the arm. And of course, we all know that the triceps are primarily responsible for the extension of the elbow. So when we are looking to pick a compound movement that gives us the best bang for our buck on a set per set basis, we want to pick a movement that minimizes the additional moment arms on the pecs, that the pecs have to act against, and that the shoulder has to act against. And we want to maximize two things: the degree of elbow flexion that we get, so that we get full range of motion for our triceps. And two, we would like the triceps to be acting against the longest moment arm to make sure that we are biasing them and they are working relatively harder than our pecs and our shoulders. Because in my opinion, the two best movements for triceps on a set per set basis are going to be dip variations and close grip bench press variations, but it really depends on how you do them. For example, take a look at this very typical leaned over dip. As you can see, the shoulder is ahead of the hand by quite a bit, and that's going to create a moment arm between the shoulder and the hand, because again, gravity acts up and down and we are transmitting force through the hand, the wrist, and the forearm there. So in order to maximize tricep bias, you guys have probably all heard this, you want an upright dip variation. And while it is certainly possible to do this with free weights, it's easiest to do this by hanging a weight behind you. For free weights. Anyways, the easiest way to do it overall is with a machine. Sorry to be confusing there, because a machine can allow you to control your posture, whereas you sort of have to lean your body in one direction or another to stay balanced with free weights. So machine dips make it far easier to get a pure tricep bias, because we can line up our shoulder joint with our hand directly and prevent some of that forward lean that's going to bring in more shoulders and pecs. Now, the same is absolutely true for a close grip bench press. Just because you take a closer grip doesn't mean that the triceps are necessarily working harder. Yes, they have a longer range of motion, but that's it. If you do a close grip bench press with very flared elbows, well, guess what? You're actually increasing the moment arm that the pecs have to act against. If you do a close grip bench press with very tucked elbows, but you touch super low on your body, you're actually going to maximize the moment arm between the bar and the shoulder joint, which means that your shoulders are going to work extra hard and not necessarily your triceps. Now, this isn't, of course, the most important thing in the world with either dips or close grip bench press. If you do either of these movements and you feel them in your triceps primarily, awesome. However, a lot of people will feel dips and close grip bench press in their pecs or shoulders primarily. And what I'm telling you are the easiest ways to fix that. So an upright machine dip, and then my favorite close grip bench press variation is going to be the JM press, because let's take a look at the moment arms here on the JM press. The bar stays over the shoulder joint with very tucked elbows. And what you can see is that keeps the elbows high and gives us one, maximum elbow flexion, which gives the longest range of motion possible for the triceps. And the only moment arm there to act against with elbows tucked is against the elbow. And so we are biasing elbow extension in this movement with the moment arms, and thus biasing the contribution of the triceps. So in my opinion, the best close grip bench press variation for triceps is the JM press. Now, How do you choose between the JM press and the dip? Well, I would recommend that you don't. Do both of them. Now, that said, this is quite a boring answer, I know. So personally, I am going to go with the dip because the dip is such a unique movement. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say that the dip is better for your triceps, but again, a very unique movement that allows us to train maximum shoulder flexion, whereas a lot of other pressing variations will not do that. And it's one of the best movements that you can do to train the lower pecs. And if you'll recall, I already selected low incline and high incline for my favorite chest and shoulder variations. So this is cheating a bit, but if you use my other recommendations, a dip is a great lift to combine with those two other lifts to cover all your bases, because it's going to hit the middle and lower pecs very hard while still smashing your triceps. And in fact, those would be my 3 king exercises for a push workout: a low incline, a high incline, and a dip. That is, in my opinion, the holy trinity of push exercises. If you get super strong on each of those variations, you will get big chest, shoulders, and triceps. So again, you really can't go wrong with the close grip bench press and the dip. But if you personally find that you feel these exercises in your shoulders and pecs, consider using moment arm analysis to do a version of them that biases the triceps a little better. The best way to do that is to find a way to be upright in your dips. You can do Smith machine dips, just like the Smith machine pull-ups that I showed in my other video. That makes it easier to stay upright, and you can just add additional weight on a dip belt. You can put your dip belt so that the weight is behind you on free weight dips, or the best option, the easiest option, is to just find a machine dip that allows you to hold an upright posture where your shoulder joint is directly above your wrist. For a JM press, you can do this free weight and a Smith machine, or you can even do it with a chest press machine, as long as it doesn't converge, that has neutral handles. And that's probably my personal favorite stable full range of motion JM press variation. But again, if I had to crown the king of all tricep exercises, it is going to be the upright dip. You can use the most weight on that movement, and I've never seen a single person with a monster upright dip that doesn't have monster triceps. All right, until the next video in the series, if you guys enjoyed this video, please like the video. It very much helps in the algorithm. Subscribe if you haven't already. And of course, have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.